The Virginia Cable Telecommunications Association and your local cable provider presents Cable Reports. Join us now as Cable Reports brings you up to date on current issues facing the Commonwealth through discussions with your local legislators and other policymakers from across Virginia.
Welcome from the General Assembly in the City of Richmond. I'm Woody Evans for Cable Reports and Comcast. And please welcome a very special guest, Delegate Terry Kilgore, representing the 1st District, Southwest Virginia. Welcome, sir.
Oh, great to be here with you, Woody, and thank you for allowing us to come here and talk to you about what's going on here in Richmond so that the folks back home know what's going on up here.
Great. Well, we'll talk about what's going on in commerce and labor, but the district you represent is very close to the Cumberland Gap, is it not?
Oh, I represent right up to the Cumberland Gap. Actually, you know, I was there when they opened the new tunnel back with when George Allen was governor. Had all 3 governors from Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee there.
Those 3 states border that area.
They all join right there at the Cumberland Gap.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a great area, and we also, we have the Wilderness Road State Park near there because of Daniel Boone and when he went through there to and on over into Kentucky and the way west. We're very proud of that park and what that it does for our tourists and show them how that our settlers from here in Virginia went the way, opened those doors and went west. So
great. And we were talking earlier. I think you were first elected in 1993. Congratulations. Yeah. This is the 20th year.
I should get a pin for that, Woody, or something, or a medal. I don't know, but it's great. It's changed. We've seen a lot of changes here from when I first came to now, but it's mostly the same. You know, you see a lot of folks. Most of the arguments up here are based on not Republican, Democrat, but you know, whether you're from an urban area, suburban area, rural area. That's basically what we see here, and we continue to see that.
And of course, you come from a family that's been involved in public service. Your brother, and I just learned recently that your mother was Registrar of Voters at one time.
Yes, she was Registrar of Voters. Jerry, of course, was Attorney General, right. And now's in the lobbying community, does a lot of national lobbying, but he had a good run as Attorney General, and so I always tell him that I was the first elected one, though, Woody, so.
Well, tell us why the Commerce and Labor Committee is so important, especially for the Commonwealth and your constituents.
Well, the Commerce and Labor Committee, which I've been chosen to chair and have chaired it for quite a while now, is very important because, you know, it deals with so many different issues, whether it's banking, whether it's electric utilities. It deals with anything with the State Corporation Commission, gas lines, safety issues, so workers' comp, labor issues. It's just a vast array. It's probably one of the busier committees in the General Assembly, other than courts, which I serve on too. But it's really busy. We have a lot going on in commerce and labor, and the goal there is, and my goal in commerce and labor is to continue to keep Virginia as a business-friendly state, make sure that we're in the top. You know, we've been in the top 1 or 2 the last 3 or 4 years in a row, and we want to continue that, whether that's keeping our regulations down and our workers' compensation rates low. So we really work hard to make sure that we do that.
And of course, the commission, the Tobacco Commission that you chair, is critical as well.
Well, the Tobacco Commission has been very innovative in helping our constituents in Southside and Southwest. And we've been working on closing deals, working on making sure that we have those jobs that are out there that we can close those deals, working with VEDP. And one area that we're really working on, Woody, which I'm excited about, is reworking our whole workforce training.
Okay.
We hired a consultant to go in, and this is because Rolls-Royce is coming to Southside Virginia.
Oh, it is.
And they're going to be building jet engines, but what they also need are suppliers out in other parts of the Commonwealth. So you have to have machinists, you have to have welders, you have to have computer programmers, engineers. So we have to go in and try to convince our citizens, hey, here's what you have to do for a pathway to a good paying job. And it's something that we're really excited about. It's going to take some work, but we have, Rolls-Royce was able to do this successfully in Sheffield, England, by setting up just a whole training center there. And with that training center, they grew a lot of jobs around it. So that's something that we really want to do, and bring manufacturing back to our area.
Great. You mentioned VEDP. Is that the Virginia Economic
Yes.
Development Partnership?
Yes.
Is that what that is?
Okay. And we work real close with them. You know, they work in getting the leads for Virginia and then passing those leads on to the localities, and they've been a great partner to work with, and with the governor and his opportunity fund, then we're able to take our dollars from the Tobacco Commission and close those deals. So we've been able to successfully close hundreds of deals, and I don't know where we'd be if we hadn't had the Tobacco Commission over the last 10 years.
What's the unemployment rate in the area you represent?
In some areas, Woody, I would say it's above 10%. But you know, in the county I live in, it's probably closer the state average. It just depends on where you are in the particular area. Now, you know, the more northern you get, the higher the unemployment rate is. Now,
UVA-WISE plays an important role in your district as well. Tell us about it.
Oh, yeah, UVA-WISE. I went to, it used to be called Clinch Valley College.
Clinch Valley.
That's where both brothers and I graduated from college. And now, then it was 900,000 kids. Now it's up over, you know, close to 2,500, and it's growing every day. And it's such an provides such an economic impact to the whole region, because, you know, you got students going there. You got the town of Wiles building up around it. Have a new convocation center that we're really excited about. They've been able to have concerts, play basketball, and also allow the community to come in, you know, the high school basketball, the volleyballs, and all that. It's one central location where everybody can go and watch events. And I've been to a couple concerts there myself. It's just a great event. But UVA-WISE is doing a lot to, you know, whether it's preparing, you know, they got a computer engineering software program, and they have a great science department, great teaching education department. It's just one of those schools that's up and coming. It's one of the best values, I think, in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
So that's also consistent with the governor's push to educate people in science, technology, engineering, and math. Right.
Yeah. The governor is very, very intent on improving our STEM education opportunities. As you said, we're UVA-WISE has got some program in the budget, along with our community colleges, where that we really go in and help our high schools go in and increase those levels. You know, you know, increase the increase our teaching ability, put more teachers for our science, technology, you know, our math, because that's where we're falling behind, and we have to have better math skills, have to have better science skills to keep up with the rest of the world. And the rest of the world, it's very important to the rest of the world, and we're falling behind, and we got to continue to do that. And that also falls back with creating jobs. We have to have the educated workforce to create the jobs we need for the area.
And the area you represent has been known for coal for years.
Oh, yes. Coal has been king and still is king. It brings in a lot of money, but we're facing a lot of attacks. We're facing, you know, coal's been under attack. We've had an ongoing issue with the EPA on what, you know, some of their regulations are basically shutting down. We've not shutting down coal. We've not been able to get the new mine permits that we have been able to get, and in turn, a lot of miners are being laid off. So what our mining community now is looking at focusing on foreign markets, whether that be China, India, Europe, those European markets, because Virginia coal or Appalachian region coal is one of the best coal out there, because you know, the met coal is very good for steel making. It's very highly rated in our steam coal. We can compete with our biggest competitor out there is Australia, and our prices are now getting to where that we can compete with Australia.
Okay. How many mines are still operating in?
Oh my gosh, you know, there's probably 100 or more mine sites, but you know, what we're really focused on is keeping those jobs, because a miner in our area makes really good money, and that also helps, you know, whether it's the food cities, the Walmarts, all our other businesses stay open, or UVA-wise, you know, just all that goes together. You know, you heard a rising tide floats all ships, man. I'm really committed to that.
It has a ripple effect throughout
It has a ripple effect, not only, and it also helps our county governments, because there's a coal severance tax there. So everybody down there is very invested in making sure that the coal industry is successful, that the coal industry continues, that we want to continue to help them grow, and whatever we can do up here in the General Assembly to help them grow, we're going to do that.
So that would help keep those property taxes a lot lower.
Right.
Severance tax.
If they don't have coal, if the counties don't have coal, then the only thing they can do is raise property taxes.
You had mentioned earlier on workman's compensation, and I know you have an initiative before your committee right now dealing with that.
Yeah, we have a initiative right now on the workers' compensation, on whether Virginia follows what other states are doing and sets up I guess they set up a fee schedule for what doctors can charge in workers' compensation. You know, we have a lot of doctors, a lot of hospitals that are against that, so I've formed a special subcommittee that's meeting right now, trying to get the parties together, and that's the business community and the doctors, to try to come up with a way to solve that issue. If you look at the studies, Woody, you'll see that while Virginia is we're the fourth lowest workers' comp on premium in the nation, but our medical costs are among the highest. So we're trying to, if we could figure out how to work that medical cost, we could be #1 in low premiums. So that's something that we may not get there with a fee schedule this year, but what we may do is try to work around the edges and get those medical costs down. If we can bring those down a little bit, I think everybody will be better off.
And I don't think people understand, a big part of your job is really getting the parties together at the table to talk.
Oh, right, Woody, and you nailed it on the head. A lot of times you have parties up here and they think you're going to say this way, or, you know, it's this way or that way, and that's just not the way it works in the legislative process. We try to bring the parties together, try to reach an agreement, especially on these issues that come before Commerce and Labor. There's so many issues on each side, and each side they all have great arguments on why it should stay the same. So what we try to do is bring them together and say, okay, what can you live with and what can you live with, and then try to forge that together, and that's how we've been able to work.
And of course, over the past several years, there has been a lot of concern about electric utility rates.
Oh my goodness!
Yes. The State Corporation Commission has jurisdiction over that, but I know you also have a bill dealing with that as well.
Yeah, we've been working on a bill for like the last year, and with the Attorney General. And the Attorney General is the Consumer Counsel. He represents the consumers across Virginia. And what the Attorney General did a study and found that some of the renewable portfolio standard and some of the adders that we're paying, we shouldn't be paying on generation adders. And so what we've done, we've taken all the generation adders out, except for wind, offshore wind, and nuclear, because those are higher risk generation. You know, the nuclear plant or
those are the facilities that generate the energy.
Yeah, right. But those are high risk. So we're going to keep an adder for those, but for, you know, natural gas and others, or wind onshore, we're saying that we're not going to give you any more adders. But what that does, it will lower electric rates for the consumer, but it will really lower electric rates for some of our businesses who are high users, like Newport News Shipbuilding, folks like that, some of our coal operators that are lower their rates. And also, another thing that we've looked at in the bill is we're changing the time that folks can go in, and whether it's Dominion or AEP, we're going to put them on different years when they ask for an increase for their review.
Okay.
Because right now, when they're both on the same year, it really, your Attorney General, your State Corporation Commission, they don't really have a lot of time to dwell in because they're splitting their staff.
Right.
So we're trying to split that up. That'll help the administrative process down at the State Corporation Commission and the Attorney General's office, so that we really can look and really examine the books of whether it's Dominion or AEP.
Right, right. Speaking about controlling calendars, I know that some local school districts, every year we hear about the King's Dominion law. I don't know what you're hearing about that from your local school districts.
Oh, well, you know, our local school districts have had a waiver for years because of the snow.
Okay.
Because we have snow. But, you know, I agree that your local school divisions ought to have some more control over their calendar. I know that September, the after Labor Day rule has been set in stone for quite a while, but I have no problem with local school divisions setting those calendars. I know the tourism groups are against that, but you know, we have to look at education as the most important of those roles, and we have to really allow those more local control in that, I believe.
And of course, this year, I mean last year, and back again this year, is the Tim Tebow initiative, which would allow homeschooled students to participate in athletics.
And Woody, I'd say I've been for that bill because of the fact that the kids who are homeschooled, their parents pay taxes just like I do. My kids weren't homeschooled, but they went to public school, but you know, they pay taxes just like I do. Is it fair? I know, and you know, I know there's some arguments that it's not fair to bring a kid in off, you know, that's at home. You don't know what he's being taught and things like that, and bring them into that environment to play sports. But you know, I just think it's a fairness issue that, you know, and I think there's some ways that we could work that out. Maybe if they come to school half a day or something like that, you know, if they want to play sports. But there's some, you know, I know that some of the principals are worried about control over that particular student, and how they would punish that particular student if they did something wrong on the field. So, you know, maybe maybe we could work something out. You know, it's all about working something out up here, so maybe we could do that.
Right. We talked a little bit about UVA Wise, and of course that's one of our institutions of higher learning. The predicate for all of that is K through 12, of course. And the governor has some initiatives, including a pay raise potentially, but also reforming some of the teacher contracts. Yeah, and
first and foremost, it is very important that we give a pay raise to our teachers. They've been going without one for, you know, 4 or 5 years. My wife's a teacher, and you know, she reminds me of the morale at the public schools. But I think it is important, and I thank the governor for providing the 2% pay raise. And maybe we might be able to provide them a little bit more in the budget. Who knows? But I think the governor, by bringing the VEA, by bringing the School Board Association,
that's the Virginia Education
Association together, and bringing them together on a bill that would that would increase the amount of time that a teacher's on what you say probation, so you can make a determination on whether that teacher's going to make it or not. It gives the school board a little bit more authority there, and I think kudos to the governor for bringing everybody together. I did not think he would bring everybody together like that, and I told him that last week that was a great job in really getting that bill passed and through the House anyway. So I think it'll help our local school divisions.
And of course, the community colleges play a critical role in our communities, not only for those who can't afford our institutions of higher learning, but those who have lost their jobs and need retraining.
Oh yeah, and you know, I guess that's one of the best things that we've that the General Assembly's ever done under Mills Godwin is create the community college system where, you know, within, you know, and then the goal was that everybody would have a community college within a, you know, an hour drive of each other, and of of their kids, and it's been a great for us in Southwest because we have been able to use our 4 community colleges down there for worker retraining. You know, if folks lost their job in a mine, you know, we were able to go back, and we've got a couple big 3 or 4 big prisons in Southwest Virginia. We were able to retrain individuals to go work as a correctionals officer, and that puts food on the table. So our community colleges, they're at that, you know, they're on the front line of workforce training. And, you know, even, you know, what we're doing with the Tobacco Commission on workforce training, we realize that the community colleges are going to continue to be on that front line, and we want them to be on that front line. So that's we want to give them the tools that they believe will be necessary to make it happen for us.
And of course, the 2+2 program continues to support those who want to go beyond the community college, and there's the tuition assistance grants as well.
Oh yeah, it's the 2+2. Just had a group on the TAG grant, which is the tuition assistance grant, which helps our private schools. And a lot of folks wonder, why does the General Assembly give money to private schools? Well, we have to give it really helps us out because it's cheaper for us to give money to private schools to take the pressure off your public school, your public colleges. So it really helps us a lot, you know, because we would spend a lot more money than whatever we give them on the tuition assistant grant than we would if they all went to public schools.
Right, and I think there's an initiative that the governor has called for to assist the creation of more charter schools, giving jurisdiction to the State Board of Education, I believe, and I think that has, you know, there are pros and cons to that as well.
There's pros and cons to that, you know. When you have smaller school divisions like I do down in Southwest Virginia, you know, there's a lot of angst there about losing students. Because if you lose students, you lose the money to the school divisions, and each student is probably in state money to Southwest Virginia is worth about $4,500. So you lose 100 students, that's $450,000. So, and that really means whether or not you're going to keep teachers or not keep teachers. So there's some angst about charter schools in Southwest Virginia. But, you know, on the flip side, they work. A lot of my colleagues were able to go down with the governor to New Orleans to see what Governor Jindal doing down in Louisiana with charter schools, and they continue, and their test scores are up, student performance up, teacher performance up. So you can't argue with success. So it's something that we really are going to have to get around the table and see how we can do it, and how it's best going to work across Virginia, because I don't think you can do it in a cookie cutter fashion. Because what works in Fairfax probably is not going to work in Southwest Virginia. Right.
Moving to health care, there are 2 separate yet still somewhat contentious issues. One relates to the expansion of Medicaid that was brought about by the U.S. Supreme Court decision, which now gives states like the Commonwealth of Virginia a lot more leeway in terms of accepting federal funds. The other one relates to a bill, I believe, that's in your committee, dealing with the state corporation and its involvement in these healthcare exchanges. Tell us what's going on in that arena.
Well, you know, I'll tell you, it's getting very politicized because a lot of folks, especially on the conservative side, think it's related to the Affordable Care Act, and they don't want to do anything to help the Affordable Care Act. But the two expanding Medicaid. You know, the federal government's going to give money to the Commonwealth of Virginia if we expand, all right? And I would say that at this point in time, you know, if we can reform it, if we get the tools necessary to reform Medicaid to set the Virginia way, then, you know, I think we should probably look at expanding, because it's going to bring money into Virginia. It's going to help our local hospitals. It's going to really, you know, keep jobs in Virginia. If we don't, those dollars are going to go to other states. We lose. So, you know, you're really in a catch-22 there. But I think the best alternative would be to take the money, but if you take it, set up controls to where the federal government backs out on what they pay you, you get out. You have to have those controls in. But we'll see. If a deal's reached on that, Woody, it'll be late in the session. And
yeah, I think there's a bill that says, well, we'll take it for the first 3 years because that's when these guarantees, the 100%, 90%. But if you back off, then we'll have the ability to back out, so to speak.
And that's got to be in there, Woody, because if you don't, Virginia could be looking at $1 billion new in general fund monies, expenditures. But now on the other bill you talked about, on whether or not Virginia participates in a federal exchange, it's something that we probably have to do, because what that bill does, it allows Virginia to control and have governance over the insurers who practice in Virginia.
Okay.
We want to do that because it keeps insurers in Virginia, it keeps them filing with one group, the State Corporation Commission, versus filing state and federal. It really helps businesses in Virginia. I think it's a bill that we need and must pass so that we can, because if a consumer out there has a question on a premium, you don't want to have to call Washington, you want to call Virginia, what they're used to.
So we haven't talked about transportation yet, and there's nothing there, of course. But the governor's proposal and about 4 or 5 others floating around right now.
Right.
And of course, the governor would have Virginia become the first state ever to do away with the gas tax. So tell us what your colleagues' reaction is to that, and your constituents.
Listen, people are all over the board, Woody, but I will say that we will come out of here with a transportation bill. But it may not be exactly what the governor has, but I thank the governor for putting a bill out, because I've been here 20 years, and we've talked about transportation funding every year I've been here. But the gas tax, doing away with the gas tax, could lower gas prices and could help communities like mine where we're right on the border. We could have people driving across the line to buy gas.
And they're going to pay an increased sales tax.
They're going to pay an increased sales tax as a result of that, 0.8%. Now, another alternative that's floated around over the weekend was do away completely with the 2.5 cents on the food tax that we still have on it. Do away with it. Leave the gas tax where it is. It's about the same dollars.
I see.
And, but it would, I believe, it would increase about $500 million more to transportation. They're all over the board right now. All these different proposals by different individuals. I'm committed to try to help move the ball forward, to try to help get some get some more transportation dollars out there. We really need to do that. If you travel 81 like I do every week, you see truck traffic, you see all these backups, and then you come down 64, especially east of here, Woody, where it all gets all you have all kinds of problems, and then Northern Virginia, who knows what to do up there.
Right.
But we have an opportunity here, an opportunity we need to latch on to, and at least make a positive step toward solving a transportation issue.
I guess one of the moving parts of the governor's proposal has drawn some criticism because it relies upon our friends in Washington to pass a bill allowing the state to tax internet sales online. Although we're supposed to be doing that already, we're supposed to declare that, but I don't know. That's a tough one.
That's going to be a tough one. That's what somebody told me. It's a law that you declare that at the end of the year you pay sales tax on everything you bought over the internet. And I'm sure that a lot of my constituents would find that surprise. They don't know about that.
Right.
But
well, anyway, we thank you for being here, and we appreciate your public service. Thank you very much, Delegate Terry Kilgore.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching Cable Reports, brought to you by the Virginia Cable Telecommunications Association and Comcast. Until next time, I am Woody Evans.
Thank you.